All right, guys, got this this lower bracket mounted, and one thing to don't forget, and this is in the instructions, don't forget to put on your weather stripping here, and that's just the standard style that just kind of crimps on right here. So anyway, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's in here nice and tight. There's a little bit of gap here. I'm not real worried about that. Some air is going to leak in this thing anyway, but the kit does come with two longer bolts. These are 15 millimeters right here. And by the way, these up here, this one, and then the two behind here for the carriage bolt, those are actually 1/2 inch. So because the Polaris, basically they typically use, or they do use metric, but it looks like Ryfab is using some 1/2 inch, and it just it fits nice and snug on there, just perfect. So just keep that in mind, and that may even be mentioned. Actually, it does have on here the list of the different screws and everything. And like for example, the one I just put on is the M10, and did have here. Just trying to find. Oh, here they are. So here is the. Just to show you, this is the OEM, and this is the one from the kit. So it is nice. It is a little bit longer. One of the issues I had originally was I had seismic mirrors installed, and I'd used the lower bracket originally instead of these that come with it. And you could mount that on top of this, because probably can't see it, or maybe you can, just right in there. Let me get a flashlight. So you can see just down in there. So there is enough thread on these. If you did have another bracket mounted to this for the mirrors, for example, just be sure that goes on the outside of the windshield bracket. But there is enough thread in there, and that was an issue that I had when I put the mirror brackets on. They're not quite as thick as the Ryfab brackets, but in fact, they're maybe about this thick right here. But they actually caused the nylock was still gripping, but it was on the very last thread. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're doing the install. Anyway, moving along. All right, guys, so I've got on to the next step, which is putting in the brackets that hold the windshield when it's laid flat. And I think this is where a lot of people get kind of stumped on the Ryfab instructions, because I've seen some complaints about, well, I wasn't sure how it fit together and so on. And it is a little confusing, but once you get it in place, it really makes sense. So the first thing you do is you actually pop out the little plastic inserts. Those just pop out plastic pieces. And then this part right here is actually made out of 4 brackets. So you have this outside bracket here, and then you have an inside bracket, right, and I guess this is also an outside bracket that's underneath here, and then there's another bracket that's underneath. It's like a C channel. In fact, here's the one from the other side. So what's happening is, now this is from the other side, but this is basically cupping the plastic here. So this is on the back. It has a welded nut that goes towards the back. So on this side over here, I'll show you what this is going to look like. So this is going to go from the back side, welded nut right here. The instructions say that there should be an arrow imprinted on here, but I could not find it. If it's on here, it's covered up by the powder coat. But anyway, the welded nut goes towards the back. Everything is labeled. They do label everything, which is really nice. But that goes from the back, and then this piece right here that has little teeth on it, this is going to go this way, and those teeth right there go into the holes, just like that from the outside. And then on top of that, this is the piece that sits on top. So basically what you end up doing is you put these 2 pieces together. I'm not entirely sure why they did that as 2 separate pieces, but anyway, no big deal. I think it's mainly so that this can be adjusted forward and back. But again, not a big deal. And then you put in 1 screw These are stainless steel, and this is a, let's see, it's a 6 millimeter stainless steel. That's going to go in, and you put in the one screw, and because you have a welded nut on it, that's going to hold it in place back here. So you get that in there. That holds it in place temporarily, and then once that's done, then you move down below. I'll get a flashlight here. And so underneath here, what's going on is you have this bracket right here. This also up at the top up here, there's a welded nut, and what you do is basically fish that up in there and then put in your screw right here. That'll hold this bracket in place, and then there's a small triangular bracket, which if I move down underneath here, you can see it right there, that little triangular bracket. That also too has, if I can point to it, has a welded nut on it. And then this is the one that has the grade 8 bolt and a couple of large washers on it. So basically you're just coming down from the top there and just tightening that down. Now I've gone ahead, I've tightened this one down, probably do another once over once everything's installed, do another retightening, but that one's good. These I have snugged, but they're not tight, because I'm anticipate having to move this around. So anyway, once I get that done, I'll get everything tightened down, and then I also went ahead and, per the instructions, put on, this is where, you can see it's still moving a little bit. This is where the windshield will snap on through these little holes right there. So that's the plan right now. And then, so basically I've got, for the most part, I've just about got the passenger side done. And again, once I get everything buttoned up on this side, what I'll do is I'll actually do a time lapse on the driver's side and do everything together, get it all mounted up.